All right, guys, the Utah Jazz get a huge win against the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm Hanson James. This is the SLC Dunk postgame show. I'm hyped about this game. We're going to talk about a little Twitter beef between Jae Crowder and Jimmy Butler, but first we got to talk about the game itself and some of the things that happened. So, Rudy Gobert is a dominant force in the NBA, and if you aren't familiar with him, you need to start paying attention. Rudy Gobert was absolutely destructive tonight with his ability to score inside on Karl-Anthony Towns in the first half. And we know that Karl-Anthony Towns was ejected in the first half. We're going to mention some things about that and why that happened. And I don't see, and people aren't realizing why, but I can tell you why it happened. But Rudy Gobert is an absolute dominant force, and he is the reason the Jazz won so many games the way they did and why they're going to keep winning games. Get used to it. It's going to happen over and over and over and over. This was probably the most important game of this stretch and maybe the most important game the Jazz had to win to make the playoffs. Because if they lose tonight with the Minnesota Timberwolves not having Jimmy Butler, it might be curtains on the Jazz playoff hopes. But with this win, this allows them to start a new streak against a good team that they're actually competing with in the playoffs. Because don't sleep on the Wolves losing a lot of games now that they don't have Jimmy Butler. That's a very real possibility right now. So this was huge. Huge win for the Jazz. All right, Karl-Anthony Towns. Fantastic, incredible talent. You've got to stop complaining to the refs. He gets his first technical in the game. And when you get that first technical, you got to be careful. That second technical, I know everyone's saying like, "Oh, what did he say? What did he do?" Here's what he did. He complained about a call that was not a foul. And that has to be the most annoying thing for a referee to do. Because if you watch that play, he did not get fouled. If anything, he did an offensive foul, putting his shoulder into Rudy. He did not get a foul. So when you have a play where you did not get fouled whatsoever, and both you and the official know it was not, and you say something stupid like that to the ref, how stupid are you? What do you think they're going to do if you say that? You've got to stop complaining, and players in general have to stop complaining when you're not fouled. You were not fouled, Karl-Anthony Towns. So quiet. Be quiet. If you get fouled, then complain. But if you did not get fouled and you complain to the ref like that, what do you think's going to happen? Kane Fitzgerald had enough, and I'm not a Kane Fitzgerald fan. He might want to be one of the worst referees in the NBA. But I agree with Kane on that. You can't do that. Jazz players as well. Any player. It's got to stop. If you did not get fouled, or you fouled, or whatever it is, if you're lying to a ref, that's got to be the most obnoxious thing ever. Stop it. Stop lying to yourself and to the referee. That's why you got thrown out. So goodbye, Karl-Anthony Towns. You definitely earned that. And anyone who says otherwise, you're either a homer of the Wolves or you're just not paying attention. It's obnoxious. He did not get fouled and he complained like he got, hurt. And that's just not the way it is. So that's why he got thrown out. Let's talk about the end of the game. The Jazz dominated the Wolves throughout the game. The Wolves hit some shots, but the Jazz played a really good game. I know the Jazz had turnovers again this game, which was kind of a thing we've talked about. But the turnovers they had tonight, some of them were pretty bad. But for the most part, they were like good turnovers. I know there's no such thing as a good turnover, but they were turnovers within the offense the Jazz were trying to get things going. And so I wasn't as worried about the turnovers tonight. There were 3 or 4 turnovers that were really bad. Pick 6 turnovers where they just get the ball and go back for a dunk. Those are frustrating, and the Jazz will get better. But you're going to have turnovers in the game. If the Jazz can cut out those ones, regular turnovers are fine. Let's see. John Smith, we are playing well, but the Clippers keep winning. That's right, but the Jazz might go on a 10-game win streak. Go look at the Jazz schedule. The toughest game in this stretch is against the Pelicans in like 5 games. Everything else is below 500 teams. The Jazz have a very real chance of getting into the playoffs. This is what we were expecting, is this stretch of easier games. And so the Jazz have a very real possibility of making it, guys. They had to win this one tonight. They had to. And this is what could set them off onto getting into the playoffs, because the Jazz have honestly 7 or 8 more games, 9 more games that are super winnable against teams trying to lose. So things are going to go very well for the Jazz. They just can't screw it up, Guess what? Jae Crowder is now one of my favorite players ever. Did you see what happened on that play with Ricky Rubio, that garbage thing by Jeff Teague? Sorry, Jeff Teague, that you're not very good, and you have to do cheap shots to other players that might hurt them, and that somehow makes you tough. Guess what? Jae Crowder, if he wanted to, he could crush your dreams and your soul and your nose. And you're lucky he didn't. You back down like a little whiner. And we saw how tough you are when Jae Crowder came and talked to you. Back away. Because that's what you did, and you got thrown out. Makes me frustrated. But shout out to Jae Crowder, who is now apparently he is the enforcer, and Jae Crowder comes in and proves that he is an absolute the enforcer of this team. It shows his loyalty to the Jazz and the other players in this team. This is a special team that has a special chemistry, and Jae Crowder has earned that moment where he goes up and talks to Jeff Teague and makes sure he knows that that's not okay what you just did, and if you do it again, you're gonna face consequences, is huge. This is the type of thing that's gonna set this team off to win more and more games. Don't sleep on that with Jae Crowder, what he did, because Jeff Teague did a Bush League play, trash play from a trash player who can't win the game with talent. He has to send some sort of message because Ricky Rubio schooled you all night. You have to do that. Jae Crowder let you know that was not okay. And then he let Tom Thibodeau, who's supposed to be an example or some sort of, he's a coach. You're supposed to be better than that. And Jae Crowder has to take crap from you? No. Jae Crowder's going to go talk to you and tell you, I disagree with the stupid things that you're saying right now, Coach Thibodeau, you trash. How about you learn to rest your players, Thibodeau? How about you do better? Because you're the reason that meniscus tear to Jimmy Butler happened. It's your fault. So if you want to say things to Jae Crowder and the Jazz, say it to yourself and get better. Be a better coach. Think about resting your players. And now we get the Twitter beef after the game, which is incredible. Jimmy Butler wants to say things like, I like players that cheap shot. You're not even there. Be quiet, Jimmy Butler. If you've got things to say, you need to say it in person. And Jae Crowder, if you want to mess with Jae Crowder, that's fine. That's a fight I wouldn't mind watching. Those are two heavyweights. That would be fun to watch. But Jae Crowder didn't back down from you either. This guy's incredible. Jae Crowder is an incredible part of this Jazz team, is going to be an incredible part of the Jazz future, has fit in seamlessly. Yes, has he quite fit in perfectly with the Jazz offense? No, but tonight he looked pretty good. And he was hitting corner threes and driving to the hoop and making nice plays for the Jazz and playing good defense. And he stood up to Tom Thibodeau and Jeff Teague and made sure they know that that's not okay to be a trash player and a trash coach. It's incredible, actually. Be humble, Tom Thibodeau. You got outcoached, and you need to learn how to rest your players. That's a fact. Learn it. Everyone else knows it. Everyone tells you it, and you still continue to do it. And that's the reason Jimmy Butler's hurt. So if you've got a problem with the Jazz playing hard and beating your ass, then cry about it. Okay? That's how it goes. This Jazz team is ready to win more games and go on a new win streak and make the playoffs. It's about to happen. Book it. Anyone who says otherwise, watch tonight. They showed who they are and what they're going to do. I'm hyped. Get ready for a new win streak. New wins against bad teams and making the playoffs. And watch for the Timberwolves to slide down. It's going to happen. All right, guys, like and subscribe to this channel. Please do it. I appreciate it. Also, go to SLC Dunk. Follow, comment on all the stories. We're going to be covering all these games, and you're going to love it. And then also go to SLC Dunk on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Follow all of it. And share it with your friends. Let them know what's going on, how great this is. And also, if you want to talk to me on Twitter, I get hyped during games. I'm Hanson James. Just don't be a jerk. All right, guys. Talk to you later.